or 6 a year.
That's awesome. Not me. Maybe one if I'm lucky, but it's neat.
All right. Make sure all the cameras are set up. All right. Looks like everyone is good to go. So we'll start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll open it up for questions from either Coach or from Hannah Barber. Please raise your hand and I'll call on you. So we'll start with Coach.
Just another tremendous effort from our kids on the road, in a really special environment with Kentucky's pink game and everything that surrounded that opportunity last night. I felt like our kids just continue to embrace win the day mentality, and that's what it's about. It's just hitting reset last night at midnight and now win the day and get prepared and focus on next game. And it's kind of like next man up a little bit. Our kids just continue to stay strong and together, and we know we're playing a much improved Auburn team. Alabama, Auburn, you can throw everything out the window with what has or hadn't happened up to this point because, it's a really special rivalry. So rivalry games are hard, and we understand the things that we can build on from the first experience and try and improve on. As we get prepared to play this Auburn team and where they're at right now.
Coach, honestly, Scott Grayson only played in limited minutes in that first matchup this season. Now she's kind of getting back her rhythm the last few games. How much of a difference does she make for Auburn if she's, at full strength?
Well, obviously she's just a great player and a tremendous talent, and it was her first game back, and we're glad that she's back and feeling better, most importantly. But we understand that defensively that we're going to have to do a much better job because she's back in sync, she's back in rhythm, and she can just really score in bunches. She can get her shot off, over near anyone. So it's going to be a total team effort, not only to control her, but Kubali as well. They're a dynamic duo. When they play well, Auburn plays well. So it's important for us to also defend their supporting cast. They're just much improved, and so it's going to have to be a great team effort defensively.
Well,
Coach, you've had the opportunity to face them before. So can you talk about some of the things that you saw in that first matchup that your team's kind of been game planning for to see in the second playing of this matchup?
Well, I think anytime you play Auburn and their system with Coach Harris, you have to take care of the basketball. So we understand the importance of limiting turnovers, and then you have to defend the glass. So you have to limit your turnovers, and you've got to be able to get stops and finish plays because they're so good on the boards. And the ability for us to start a transition game. And then thirdly, defending their transition game. So it's easy baskets. It's all about what I just said, points in the paint. And it's going to be a really big challenge for us. That's something that, the first half, last night, we didn't do a very good job, and that was the key going into the game. So we have to have a sense of urgency to defend the paint and defend the glass in transition in the half court in a really big way.
And Carly Willis finally got a chance to, get some scoring going last game. What do you see from her as a freshman going through her first SEC schedule? How she kind of struggled early on, but finally kind of seen a breakthrough a little bit last game.
Yeah, obviously super excited for her. She was due to have a game like that just because of her approach and the way that she practices every day. We've talked about it a little bit before, but she's the most mature freshman that I've ever been around, and just her approach and her mentality, it was only right that she would have a game like that. So just super happy that she was able to do it on the road last night.
I'll give Hannah some credit too. She's her roommate, and she's really taken on the road, and she's really taken Carly under her wing and just helped her every step of the way. And Hannah understands what it's like to be a freshman in this league, and just the encouragement, just the role model, just the example, how we travel, how we come to work every day. I think that she's just done a really good job too of infusing her with belief. It's, hey, let go, get ready for the next day, regardless, and so I think Hannah has done a really good job of helping Carly make the transition.
Well,
Hannah, your team had the hot hand last night, shooting nearly 50% from three, particularly in that second quarter to kind of rally back into the game. Can you talk about how important the perimeter game is to this offense?
Yeah, it is important, but if you look at, our start, we weren't shooting the ball very well starting off. So to have some start to fall in the second quarter, it did create some momentum for us. But again, whenever we can defend and rebound and get to the rim, that's what we want to do first. When we're making threes on top of that, that's just more offense for us. But at the end of the day, it comes down to us being able to defend, rebound, and get out in transition.
All right, Mason.
Coach, obviously there was a really cold stretch last game followed by a really hot stretch. What goes into your team in terms of the consistency and maintaining, not getting too high or low with shooting slumps or even, shooting bursts?
We just talk about it. Basketball's a game of runs, and we want ours just to be a little bit longer and more productive than our opponent. I remember Hannah coming in at one point last night, and saying, "Let's go on a run. It's time to go on a run. Let's extend it," especially there in the third. And so they understand that it's everything's not always going to go your way, but it's how you just stay together. You just weather runs. We just want ours to be a little bit longer. So fortunately here lately, we've been able to come out in the third and have really big, strong third quarters. I thought we used that as an example at halftime last night. That's what happened at Missouri, and we have a chance to reset and refocus and come out and do a better job, and they did a good job with that.
Well,
This one is a two-parter. Jada Rice has obviously continued to be an impact player for this team. Hannah, can you talk about how her presence has helped the team on and off the floor? And Coach, can you talk about what her biggest area of growth has been throughout the year?
I think from a defensive perspective, as a guard, when you know that you can get up and pressure the ball because you have rim protection behind you, it's really nice to have, and I think that she does a good job of that. That's something that we've tried to get better at. And then also just from a rebounding perspective, having her be able to get O boards and get defensive rebounds so we can get out and run has been huge.
And I just see two areas of Jada's growth. One being she's a much more vocal leader, and she's done a really good job of trying to bring a presence about her actions, both like I just said, vocally, but also I think she's practiced harder and taken a lot of pride. Not that she didn't practice hard, but she's just had a different practice presence, and I think those two things have really helped to elevate her game and give everybody around her confidence that she has their back. And we need points in the paint, so we know down the stretch, and she does as well, that we're going to have post points, and it's got to come from finishes in the paint.
all right. Thank you guys.
Thank y'all. Roll Tide. Grab you some lunch.